All right, so today we're going to fit carriers. These are a newer style carrier. They're modular setups, and these will be the same video for anything from a GQ all the way through to a Y62, 80, 100, all the cars. So first step, to lay all your bolts out. Your big 16 millers and wheel nuts are going to be for your wheel plate. Your M8 button heads and all that nylox are going to be for your jerry can box. And obviously we've got our bearings, seals, split pins and all that here. So bar's been prepped. Now, when the bar's new, it'll have a tapped hole in here. It'll either have, in your bolt kit, you've got an M8 button head. If you're not putting carriers or a single carrier, you put that in to fill a hole, or you put your gas strut ball in there. We've loosely fitted our latches, ready for when the carrier's on. M10 button head, they're the zinc ones. Nylock nut and a washer on the back. Don't need a washer on the front. I'm going to put our gas strut balls screwed into the bottom. Now, greased bearings, preferably with marine grease, but it doesn't really matter because in theory they're not going to get water in them. So big bearing in the bottom, seal, and then you need something appropriate to knock it in, like that. And up the other way, small bearing in the top. This is a bit that everyone struggles with. Putting it on with the gas strut. Got to do it at the same time. So gas strut on here. You come around the other side still. This stopper is going to engage in there, and then this would be under tension. So the trick is to put this on out here. So the stopper's past its point. Put your gas strut on while it's right around here. And then we're going to come around to where this is engaged and push down, and the stopper will engage. And that's it. It's the reverse for if you remove them. So same deal, you'd take your nut and everything off, you'd come in, lift it up and let it come around, small blade screwdriver and release the gas strut. It's the number one thing we get phone calls about. From there, castle nut, washer, so washer. Has to be firm, not crazy tight. You can go like really tight and back it off and then come again, but the general thing is it has to be just firm, obviously lining the split pin up with the castle nut. So some of ours, depends on what stub it has, that'll go through there. Some of them, you do snip this in half, so it's just a single one, but either way, in like that. That essentially is the carrier part done. Obviously you'd mirror that for both sides. From there we're going to come around, I'm going to sit that in. All right, so what we want to do is we want the hook to be central and obviously parallel with the top. It's a little bit hard with only one hand, but just nip it so you can still, so parallel, central. All right, so as far as adjusting the latch, that's a bit tight. So this one does your tension. So you adjust that one till it's, want it firm. And then this one, for instance, if this was too loose, see how it's like all rattly and rubbish. So this one, all this one's purpose is just to have a bit of tension. So when it's open, that stays in the right spot. And then when you shut it, it's nice and tight. Doesn't have to be crazy, but you want it to be so it's on the spring. And then that way, it's lovely. Next step is the wheel plate. Ruler. There's a couple of ways you can do this. You can put a straight edge. You normally just put that there, eye down there, so it's 180 mil. And then you're going to go from here. You want this to be 10 mil less. So obviously that's 180 there. You want it to be a little bit less. It can even be a little bit less again. It's like 10 to 15 mil of crush. Now you've got 3 sets of holes. So depending on what type of rim you had, you'll always have adjustment. And even this one, you can go in further. Now you've got to be able to get a spanner up the inside. So we normally do the outer ones. do them up tight, and then we put these ones and do them up tight. As time goes on, the new ones have got a slot in here for your spanner, so you can put your spanner in the top. Then you wouldn't matter, you could do them all 4 at once, but certainly if you got one like this is how you have to do it. So you can come up from underneath here, washer, nut. Right, so depending on what wheel you have, ours comes standard with a normal tapered nut. Now obviously that'll fit a Steely, it'll fit most wheels that are tapered. Depending on your car, if it's a 12mm, 14mm, you know, we make it quite a few different wheel plates. So some wheels you may need to get nuts to suit your wheels. Obviously if you buy a mag, it comes with one. On some factory wheels like this, when they've just got the big seat like that, we literally just put a washer in there and you run the nut backwards, because obviously it's seated on the studs and it's just going to have 4 bolts holding it there. That way when you take it off and you put your Sealy on, you can just turn the nut around. But yeah, this is one part that you, depending on what wheel you have, it may be something you need to find a washer or a different wheel nut. Generally speaking, 9 out of 10 times what we supply you will get you done. Righto, so we talk about having a bit of tyre crush. That acts like a big spring washer and stops this trying to pivot, trying to make that come loose. So exactly how that is what we want. So that now is a finished side. From there we're going to repeat for the jerry can part. We're going to put the bearings and everything in exactly the same, adjust our latch, all that. Then we move on to a jerry can box. So we've put our other side on, we've adjusted our latch. We've done exactly the same as what we did on that side. Depending on what accessory you're putting on, this is where you bolt it on. Pretty much everything's the same. It'll bolt on with an array of 8mm bolts. If it has a water tank, we supply it with it'll be an M10 longer bolt, which will go through the jerry, through the water tank and onto the back. But essentially everything just bolts onto this face. So obviously this is gonna go onto there. Being that this is just a double jerry, it's a standard setup. So the trick is to washer either side, M8 bolt, like that. I'm going to hold it there. Now if you had 2 single jerrys, exact same setup, just do one at a time, leave them loose, get them nice and parallel to each other and do them up. If you had a ladder, anything, they all bolt on in the same scenario. It'll be either 2 rows in each one. Obviously this one, you just use every hole that's available. Now same deal if you had the little pocket on the back, everything shares these bolts. So you just literally, it'll bolt right through whatever accessory you have. If you had a shelf on the back, same deal. So all very self-explanatory. The only one that's different is obviously if you had a shelf, the shelf's going to slide in. So narrow shelf, slide in there, large shelf, slide in the 2 outside. Same bolts, the little M8 ones. So it would slide inside of this channel and inside there. You've got 2 different options for height. So you can be all the way to the bottom or one up. And yeah, it doesn't matter what it is. If it's a shelf in the back, our Maxtrax holder, the one that has a little frame. What other things bolt in there, Stella?
Ladder.
Yeah, so ladder and then our other form of Maxtrax ones goes on the front. Essentially, it's either going to tuck in there or it's going to bolt to the front. All exactly the same. Super duper duper easy. So last bit, number plate light. It's going to come like that. Same deal, if it's an older style bar like a OG bar, it might not be a plug-in loom, so it might just be the wire, but same principle on them all. So you've got 2 rivets, and these rivets going to come in from the back, so we'll get our riveter. Super important, rivets from the inside out, so when your jerry's in, you don't have a bit of rivet sticking out. It is in the corner, it won't matter. Same deal, the wire won't matter, the wire will go in that corner, so we'll zip tie that. So around the back of that, up underneath here, through this hole, plug him in, zip tie in this spot in the corner. Now, a lot of people get wigged out about the wire being on the inside of the jerry. It's where the radius of jerry is, it won't get touched. So you want that right in that corner. One. And your last one, and you need to set this one while the carry is open, so you're not going to overstretch that. The reason we go on the outside is so when it's opening and shutting, because obviously when this stopper in here, if it happened to find its way in there, it'll just sever it off. So this one, under the ball, like that, doesn't have to be mega tight because we obviously want it to pivot. All it's doing is just keeping it completely out the way. So that way when it shuts, it'll bubble up like that. And then as you open, if you just watch, it'll just straighten out. So that's what we're going for. You don't want that to be too like trying to cut it off. It just has to be there to keep it straight. Obviously I need to learn how to cut a zip tie. Last thing, so we're almost there. So now we've got an operational number plate light. We need to bolt our number plate on. If you're doing a late model car that has a camera kit, same deal, you'd start at this end, you'd have your camera out your door. Generally speaking, you can bolt these, so if it was twin wheel, this would be flat, and it'd get bolted on the back flat. Jerry box, it's whatever, there's no right or wrong, it's wherever you like it. We normally put it about there, which will give you, it'll make it in the middle of the car. It'll also mean, because the view is out like that, you won't see the jerry, you won't see anything. What we normally do is have it in the shut position, put your tow bar tongue in with whatever one you're running, and have it just come back till you can just see the ball in the bottom of the camera. So it's a happy medium in and out, so you can just see your ball, but then you've got the clearest view out the back, and then that is the optimum spot. Everyone has what they think is a better spot, put it wherever you want, but that's the intention. So there, then you'd run your wire up, comes with a heap of P-clips, so you'd put a P-clip for your loom, P-clip, P-clip, P-clip. Some cars, you've got to remember when it's shut, they're very close, so put your P-clip up the top, so it's not down here and gets squashed. We're pretty much there. Last but not least, number plate. Now, if it was twin wheel, it'll come with a number plate bracket. Would go between that. So it's a flat bracket, goes between the wheel, and so you put it on first, put your wheel over it, do it up, and it'll have a little section sticking out the wheel. Then your number plate bracket bolts to that. And you do the exact same scenario. You're going to run your wire up. That's what these holes are for. It'll come with P-clips. So you go P-clip, 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 and run it through the wheel to your number plate hole. This one being wheel jerry, which is by far the most common. We're not going to use any of that. You can also utilise them for P-clips if you're putting a light pole in it. So it would go up the light pole. They're just there so you don't have to drill. Number plate. Bolts from the inside. These ones are critical because when your jerry's in, you want the dome head. See heaps of cars come in and the bolts around the other way and they've cut a whole hole in their jerry. Most people haven't actually noticed they've done it. So they'll come with a stainless little washer, 5mm nut. Alright, so obviously now number plate's done, number plate light's plugged in, latches are adjusted. Now the desired operation is left and right hand, out, and out like that. Super quick to get in, same deal. These will over center, so they get to here and they'll actually hold themselves shut. So they get to center point and they'll actually hold shut or they'll hold open. And that's the idea. So super easy. Like that, that's done.